Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning into today's podcast. Today we have Grace, also known as It's a Grace Marie on Instagram. Grace, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, first, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, what your page is about?
Okay. So a little bit about me. I am a full-time personal trainer. That is actually a career change. I was in the culinary industry for about almost 10 years. And if anyone listening has been in the culinary industry, they know that it's pretty brutal. I got physically and mentally burned out, and so I kind of turned to fitness and going to the gym as kind of an escape from that. And then also, my page kind of started around the same time, a little over a year ago, to kind of nurture the creativity that had been lacking while working in like commercial kitchens and making other people's stuff. So I eventually became a full time trainer over the course of about 2-ish years. And my page has also kind of turned into a much bigger project, especially over quarantine. And right now, It's a Grace Marie has almost 4,000 followers, and I appreciate every single one of them. I post bowls, recipes. I'm still like nurturing that creativity that I wanted to nurture in the beginning. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, that sounds great. Always great to hear when, a side project or something like that, a passion can turn into something bigger or something meaningful. So that's always great. So I know one of the things you talk about on your page is intuitive eating. So do you want to talk about your intuitive eating approach?
Okay. So intuitive eating is, I think, the biggest misconception about intuitive eating is that it's easy. As somebody who has had a past in eating disorders, I had orthorexia. And if you've ever had an eating disorder, you'll know that it's something that just doesn't really go away. But you do have to learn how to kind of intuitively eat afterwards. Like when you are like knees deep in diet culture and you kind of lose your hunger and satiety cues, and then you are restricting yourself on a regular basis, you kind of just like lose your sense of just eating to eat. So for me, intuitive eating is a giant learning curve. Some days are easy, some days are harder. Some days you're out with friends and you eat like 8 tacos and it's fine. And then other days you could do the same thing and you feel guilty about it. So really, my approach with intuitive eating, I don't know, it's just me trying to be patient with myself. And I think a lot of people that are trying that as well, it's the same thing. You got to be patient with yourself. You got to treat yourself with kindness and remind yourself that it's not always going to be easy. So it does get easier with time. I've done it myself. And even though I might take a couple of steps back every so often, I know the way forward. And the way forward is much more freeing than going back into diet culture.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely agree with that. For with myself included, I definitely have seen that it's something that takes a long time to sort of figure out, and you get better at it as you go. But once you sort of find what works for you, it gets easier and easier as time goes on. So I totally agree. So going off of that, then what can one do, or what tips or strategies can one use to achieve their own nutritional goals if they're just starting out?
They're just starting out. Well, for one thing, it depends on what you want to achieve nutrition wise. So, I guess if we're going for health and for, let's say you want to incorporate more vegetables into your diet, you want to get more water in, if you might want to lose a couple of pounds, fine. Um, you got to approach things one by one. You got to take baby steps towards those goals, because if you go all or nothing, and the same goes for anything in fitness, you're gonna burn yourself out really, really fast. I've had, I will give an example. I had a client once, and I teach the way that I approach every one of my clients is I tell them immediately, like, we don't restrict. This program that we're going through is entirely non-restrictive. If you like eating M&Ms, you can still eat M&Ms. You just can't have as many of them. You might not be able to eat the whole bag, maybe just like half the bag, and that's fine. We're incorporating healthy habits. We're not just saying like cut out the chocolate, make life unenjoyable for yourself. So as an example, I had one client and I told her like, we're not going to restrict, we're not going to cut out any food groups. We're going to be fine. And she went completely off the rails. She cut out gluten, she cut out dairy, and was she losing weight? Yes. Was she eating more vegetables? Of course, but she was also restricting herself in a way that was completely unsustainable. And I guarantee you, like, once she added that back in, added the gluten and dairy back in, she was just going to go back to eating in the way that she didn't even enjoy in the first place. So what I say is like, all right, what we can do here is first, let's maybe look at our calories and look at our macros and see maybe what we need to achieve this goal. If we are not focused on calories and macros, then we kind of look at what we're eating as a whole, kind of just like track your food for a couple of weeks. And then once you kind of see like, how am I eating right now? Maybe see what we can tweak. Maybe if we're not eating, you see you're not eating enough vegetables, incorporate some more veggies first. So like the quarter of the plate is vegetables. Now maybe make half the plate vegetables. And then you see maybe I'm not drinking enough water. Just like add a glass or two in per day. You don't have to go all or nothing to achieve your goals. And if you do, you're probably going to burn yourself out, like I said, and you're going to maybe achieve your results, but they're not going to be sustainable. Like I've had people cut out alcohol for the entirety of their programs. Just even though I never told them to, they'll do it. And then they'll start incorporating it back in. And what do? They gain a little bit more weight. So again, you just have to find what works for you. Don't restrict yourself and take baby steps to get there. That's in summary.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. It's always about taking those small steps that lead to, over time, very large changes. So I totally agree. So, how does that strategy in terms of nutrition relate to your clients in terms of how you program fitness for them?
It's very similar. Again, I've had clients come in, never worked out a day in their lives, and they're like, I want to come in like 5 days a week. I want to train with you like 3 days a week. And I'm like, that's great. Sometimes most people need the accountability, and that's great. That's why I'm a coach. Like, I'm here for you. But if you never worked out a day in your life, then coming into the gym 5 days a week and doing a total body strength program is probably not the best idea right out the gate. So for most clients, the way that I program, we program at the most like three to 4 days a week, because that's sustainable for most people. Like you come to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And like day 4 is optional. Like if you have the extra day, if you have the extra time, we add in an extra day. If you are a gym rat and that's something that you enjoy, then we'll program that. But over time, again, it's going like we start with like 1 or 2 days a week, kind of get used to that feeling in our bodies. Like you're gonna be sore as hell. You don't want to go so fast right out the gate. You don't want to send it right out the gate. You want to, again, like do 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Like this is all over the course of like several weeks. And then kind of you will find your happy spot. It's like with food, like you'll find what works for you and what works for your body. But don't just like, again, go into it saying like, I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to train for like an hour or two, because it's not going to work. And eventually, like, again, if you're that special exception, if you really love the gym and if you really want to be in there 2 hours a day, like if that makes you happy, honey, go for it. But again, for most of my clients and the way that I program, again, we take those baby steps to get there, and I will hold their hand every step of the way just to make sure they're all good to go. And if they want more, I'll give them a little more. But if they can't handle it, then we cut it back a little bit. So again, slow and sustainable.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. Baby steps are, of course, incredibly important in that area. The first couple of days after a strength workout are a little bit rough in terms of soreness if you've never trained it before. So totally agree. And sort of going off of that, you mentioned there programming a strength program for someone. Is that primarily what you focus on? What's your approach to what your clients are doing in the gym?
Um, yeah, strength is my specialty, to be honest. I really love getting people on a barbell. Um, I love getting men on the barbell. I love getting women on the barbell. Like gender, it means nothing. I really love programming strength because, unlike cardio, which cardio has its own benefits, like heart health, well, like, increase your VO2 max, like you get that runner's high. I get it. But it's not going to make you stronger. And I feel like with strength, like not only like do you like make those gains in the gym, but I think you also like make gains mentally. Like I found with most of my clients, like whether they want to, gain a lot of muscle or lose a little bit of fat or just like kind of, a little bit of both, like they do achieve that with strength training. And then they also achieve a hell of a lot of confidence because there is nothing quite like the feeling of like, you know, getting that like one rep max. Or for a lot of my clients, it's like, once they get like, triple digits in like doing a deadlift or a bench or something like that, once they're like lifting over 100 pounds, it's great. Once you're lifting your body weight, that's awesome. Like you, being strong feels really, really, really good.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. And yeah, like we talked about, it's sort of a way to combine multiple goals into one because obviously building more muscle mass makes you feel better in the gym. Mentally, you feel better. Your basal metabolic rate goes up slowly over time as you build more muscle. So you're burning more calories at rest, even when you're not doing anything as compared to before. So I would 100% agree with that. And do you have anything, sort of as the last thing here, is there anything else you think that people necessarily get wrong when they go into the gym?
Oh, tons. Um, I think again, biggest misconception is not training strength at all. I've gotten so many, especially women coming in afraid to get bulky. They don't want to pick up a weight. They just want to like immediately go to the cardio and just start running. And a lot of, and that kills me. It really, really kills me because you're not going to get bulky strength training ever. You have to have, that right hormone balance. You have to eat a lot. You have to be in that calorie surplus. Like, look, I have gotten bulky in the past. I'll admit that. But that's because I didn't know how to eat yet, and I was strength training. So I was eating probably like 3,000 calories a day. And keep in mind, I was working in the baking industry then. So I was eating a lot of pastries and then also strength training. So I got pretty bulky. But as long as your diet is in tune, as long as you're not eating like a jerk, you're not gonna get bulky. If you're eating relatively at maintenance and you're training strength at least 2 to 3 days a week, you might actually lose a little bit of fat along with gaining that tone that a lot of people really want to have. And again, you're going to feel more confident in your body. So again, I get a lot of people coming in with a ton of different misconceptions, but I think that one is the biggest. And again, if you like cardio, do some cardio, but don't kill yourself with it. I think another big misconception is the fact that you have to do cardio to be fit, but you don't have to do that if you don't like it. I've gotten a woman with two broken ankles trying to like force herself to run because she thinks she needs to burn calories. And that kills me. So like I cut her back from the cardio. I told her you don't have to do that. We're going to train strength. You can do cardio on your off days. Don't run on broken ankles. Go on the elliptical or something. But you don't have to do something that you don't like. Exercise should be enjoyable, and you should not be approaching it from a calorie burn standpoint in the first place. Um, so it's again, like with food, just be mindful with your approach. Find what works for you, find what you like. And if you need some extra accountability, then you hire a trainer. And if and that can help you get some goals and move you in the right direction. And hopefully you won't experience that gym intimidation. And then you also won't come in with a lot of these gym misconceptions. Like, go hire somebody that knows what they're doing instead of going on Instagram and looking at the workout a 17-year-old is doing. And that's my biggest piece of advice there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I know we sort of talked off camera about just the benefits of having either a personal trainer or a training partner or somebody that you train with, especially to get over that if you do struggle from gym intimidation or something like that. I know for myself at the very beginning, going in, not really knowing what you're doing, especially when you're in, I mean, the gym I was at was a full on powerlifting gym where it was basically all athletes training at Ohio State where we're at. So it was an experience for sure, but then you stick with it, you stay there for a while, and then a year later, you can see people who were in my exact position a year ago, and it's no one looks at you sort of as if like making fun of you or anything. People who are in there are impressed that you're in there in the first place, taking initiative and learning how to do things. If anything, the only time I ever had anyone say something to me was someone who came up and gave me a couple tips on something that I was struggling with, and it made it a lot easier. And I was very thankful that they helped me with that. So I think that's a really important point as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, well, I think that's a really good note to end on, unless you have anything else you'd like to go over.
I don't think so. Again, my career and page and all of that, it's just a broad range. So I think we covered just about everything, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think this was really beneficial. So, with that, Grace, thank you so much for being here. Everyone, I hope you really enjoyed this. This will be uploaded here shortly, and I will have more podcasts coming for you guys soon. Hope you enjoyed. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.